We have this reducer. It's kind of getting out of hand. Let's clean it up a little bit. One common way of implementing this, instead of having these nested if statements, is to instead use a switch case. So this will be, switch, and we're going to switch on the action type, right? So we're going to put this here, and the various cases would be that you have a create module, right? And you have maybe break, and then you have another case where you have a delete module, right? And another break, and then you have a default, right? And the default typically is that you're going to just return the current state, right? So the default is that you just return the state, and you return state, right? Whereas all the other ones, we're going to just copy these guys, right? So this will be return this, right? For the create module. For the create module is this one, right? So we're going to paste that in there. Probably we don't need the break. For the delete, it's going to be this one over here. Oops. It's right here, right? And we're going to just remove that. So that's one of the things that we can clean up. Okay. Let's see if this still works. Yeah, still works. Okay. The other thing that is very common is that instead of using these hard-coded strings, right, we create a function. We create a directory called actions, right? And in these actions, we store all the actions, as constants in there. So this string, we would put it in a file called maybe module actions, right? And in here we would declare export const create modules, and then the string in here, right? And do the same thing for the other one. We have delete module, right? We declare all these constants: export const delete module, right? And once we export it, instead of using this hard-coded string, we use the actual token, right? So create module it's being imported from our module actions, right? And same thing for this delete module. This cuts down on mistyping and misspellings, right? So the compiler can catch these errors. You could easily misspell the string, but this one makes sure that you cannot misspell it. Same thing in the list component. These objects here, right? These objects, a common thing to do is to move these into the actions folder, into the actions that we just implemented, as calculated on the fly, right? So for instance, we can copy this, right? And we can in our actions, this is delete. So over here we would have an export const delete module, which is a function that returns that object, and it takes as argument the module ID. See that? So now, since we're exporting this, we can go back here, and the dispatch is going to call the delete module, which takes as argument the module ID. This also is a very common practice, right? So to clean this up and make it a little bit much more readable. Same thing with this one. We can do that for the create. We can come here and implement this. We can export const create module, right? Which is going to be a function that returns this object, and is going to need as an argument. Maybe it can, we can hard code it like that, and then we can now replace this with create module, right, which returns that object. Make sense? Right. Obviously, over here we would clean it up so that this, instead of using this string, it uses the token, right? Again, to reduce any case where we might mistype it, right? So use the tokens, the constants, wherever possible. Okay, so we cleaned it up a little bit. Everybody okay? Everybody still with me? All right.